Hi and welcome to another episode of ReaperTV. In today's quick tip tutorial we're going to take a look at how we can adjust the tempo of a MIDI item independently of the tempo of the track. Now there are many reasons why you may want to use this. You could have copied and pasted a MIDI item from a different track that had a different tempo and you want to retain the same tempo of the MIDI item but actually operate the track in a different tempo. So let's take a look at how we can do that now. So I've got a MIDI drum track in front of me and this was recorded at 200 BPM, and as you can see the track itself is actually set at 200 BPM, which is fine. So if we hit play, you're going to hear it in the way that it was intended to be heard at the right speed. Now the problem is, if we change the tempo of this to the tempo that I actually want, for example 120 BPM, once we do that, we find the MIDI item now actually changes to match the tempo. So if we listen to that, we'll hear the drum track has now actually slowed down. So obviously this isn't what I want. I want to keep the MIDI time to the same as it originally was recorded. So we can do that quite easily. If I want to change my tempo of the actual track itself to 120, I can leave that as it is, and I'll select the MIDI item, right click and choose source properties, and in there you can see we've got a range of options, and the third option, and the one we are looking for, is ignore project tempo and use. As you can see at the moment it's using the same tempo of the actual project, which is 120 BPM, and is set to be 4/4. So obviously if we want to change the timing we could do that in the same way that we could adjust the tempo. So let's check the box that says ignore project tempo. And like I say, I know this originally was recorded at 200 BPM, so I can select that, hit apply, and once I click OK to this, we'll see that the MIDI item in the background will change and it'll be in the timescale that we wanted. So now if I rewind that and play it again, we'll hear it in the right speed. So effectively now what we have is we have a project operating at 120 beats per minute, but the MIDI item operating at 200 beats per minute. Well, I hope you found this tip useful. I hope you can find a use for this in your projects. If you have found it useful, please hit the subscribe button below to be kept up to date of all the new tutorials we add every single Friday. If you have any comments, questions or feedback on any of the videos covered on our channel, or this video in particular, please pop those in the comments section below. We read everything you post on there and we try to reply and answer any questions you have. Well, until next time, happy mixing.